Good morning, our amazing community of women in practice looking to create joy-based solutions for practice wellness, right? So we are here this morning with the beautiful Molly Cahill of Holistic Marketing Hub. Good morning, Molly.
Hey.
We got a little caught up. Listen, y'all, I got a puppy yesterday. I haven't owned a dog in my adult years, so I'm a little sleepy. So I'm going to blame the lateness, the tardiness on Kuna, our new friend. So, with that being said, we're going to get right into it. And I have a couple of things going on here. If you guys have any questions for Molly as she's teaching us about, we're going into how do we use Instagram to reach who we want to reach, to get to where we want to get to. I know all things Facebook because that's kind of where I landed when I got introduced to social media. Instagram is like, I think of it as like the younger generation social media platform. So I can't wait to hear from you. Molly, let's just start. Tell us who you are, what you're all about, where are you from? Give us the lowdown on Molly Cahill.
Yeah, I would love to. So first of all, got my coffee. I'm ready to go. Um, so I am actually in Pensacola, Florida. I'm a military spouse. My husband is a helicopter pilot, and we were stationed in San Diego for 6 years before this. We have a little girl who's 4 named MJ. And when we were in San Diego, so my background was in actually outside sales, corporate sales, medical sales. I sold, Jody, I don't think I've told you, drug testing and to like pain management and addiction clinics for 6 years. And nothing will quite tip you over the edge of wanting to do something different than that. So when I got pregnant with my daughter, I was super duper sick. And I just remember I actually covered Los Angeles was part of my territory, and I'm from Alabama. So this is just really funny. Like, I'm like, what am I doing? People are probably like, are you like, excuse me? And I just remember I was literally driving in LA, like puking, and I was just like, I quit. I'm done. I quit. And I had a nest egg saved up for this very day. So my chiropractor and I had become really good friends. And when my daughter was about 10 months old, she's like, hey, are you looking to get back to work? I'm like, I am. I really am. I don't know how stay-at-home moms do it. They are superheroes. And I need to do something, but I don't want to go back to like the corporate life, you know? She said, do you want to run my Instagram? And I was like, sure. I don't know. Like, I'll figure it out. So we just did it for trade for the longest. And that's kind of how I learned. And she had an acupuncturist and a massage therapist in her office. And so then they started asking me to do theirs. And then it kind of snowballed, and her friends and so forth and so on. And so that's how I got started. And so,
Awesome.
yeah, I mean, I took, of course, a lot of the like fancy courses and all that, but really you definitely learn
Isn't
by
that cool?
doing.
So the cool thing, there are a couple of cool, I just want to introduce myself real quick because we have a lot of new members of this group. My name's Dr. Jody Dinnerman. I'm the founder and creator of All Things Soup School, which is a finishing school of sorts for women in practice who are really looking to create joy for their practice with all things automation. And every second Saturday of the month, we come into our group and we interview one brilliant mind in social media realms. Yesterday, because we were getting our puppy, we had to bump it to today. So that's why we're here today with Molly. First of all, please thank your husband for his service. That is awesome to know, and I did not know that. So my heart is with you guys. That is amazing. And the second thing is I just want to highlight what you just said. So it kind of happened by accident. And I just got off the phone with one of our students. I do a lot of side coaching, and what I was saying to her, her world is like spinning in a million directions and she just wants to anchor it. And I said, you know, it's kind of like a snow globe, like you shake it up and you watch where everything falls. You never know why the shaking is happening while it's happening, but there's a level of trust there that, you know, whether it's your chiropractor asking you to do social media for you, and then it just turns into this beautiful thing. And the thing I love about what you do and what you put out there is there's like this elegant touch to all of it. Like, it's almost like I can identify a Molly Cahill piece. because of your touch. So I want to hear about branding, but before we go into that, I also want to tell our friends in the Facebook world, if you have a question for Molly, just post it on the thread where you're seeing this live video. So let's get into it. What are some ways, what are 4 ways specifically that people can use their Instagram to grow their practice? I cannot wait to hear about this, and I'm going to be taking notes while you're talking, so go for it.
This is my favorite topic. I could talk on it all day. And I'm going to give you a couple different things. I'm going to kind of talk about more of like the, what's the word? What's the word if it's not tactical? Like the
untactical.
Wait
a second. Ready for it, Molly? Did you hear the round of applause for untactical? You didn't hear it.
I did, but I didn't know what it was. You're so fancy with this, Jody. So I'm going to give you a couple things that are just more of like, just like topic based and talking kind of more about the branding. And then I'm going to also give you some actual tips of things you can implement right away. Because I don't like to just talk in the concept. I like to actually give you some things you can implement right away. So one of the biggest mistakes I see people making, so this is definitely one of the ways you can use Instagram, is hiding behind your logo, and not having that soul in your business. So one of my favorite things about social media in general is that, Jody, when we were in school and when we were coming up, it was kind of like business and personal should always be separate. You don't ever mix the two, like your chiropractor page. And I know that not everyone on here is chiropractors. I'm just going to probably use that as the example just because it's the easiest in my head. If this applies to anybody, you should have a personal page where you post anything of your kids or your dog or your plants or whatever, your vacation. And then you should have a chiropractic page where you only post about chiropractic and how it helps. But that's not actually true. Now, the caveat is, obviously there's a lot of chiropractors who also have personal pages. I'm not saying you should flood your chiropractic page with every post is of your new puppy. But would you say your new puppy's name was, Dr. Jody?
Tuna, honey. Actually, I'm just telling, my son's texting me while I'm on because I do 5 things at once, and I think I'm going to bring her up for her first online debut. So keep going. I'm listening. Kuna is
Kuna? Did you say Kuna? Okay. So Kuna should absolutely, and you're going to push back for me for a little bit because most people do. Kuna should absolutely be making her face shown on your Soup School Instagram page. Because there are no unique markets out there. There is nothing that is unique. Everything is saturated. And to prove this point, actually, this is a true story. I had a girlfriend from high school reach out to me who I hadn't talked to since high school. She's like, can you help me with my Instagram? She's like, I breed geckos, and it is a very competitive market. And I was like, what? Okay. So everything is saturated, and there's a reason that I drive 35 minutes out of my way to go to my chiropractor. I literally pass, I should count one day, but it's around 7 chiropractors to get to mine. That's because I have a personal connection with her. So when there are these other businesses out there that can help, like not Soup School's pretty unique, I will give you that.
Oh, go
but
on.
I'm just saying. No, it is, but
I totally agree with what you're saying. Like I drive an hour to see my chiropractor. You know how many chiropractors I have in my town? But I have a connection with my chiropractor, and he knows my spine. He's my person, and I get what you're saying. Keep going. I'm listening.
No, I'm sure there's other, staffless women in practice who could go, oh, this person's an automation expert, or this person's a chiropractor coach, or this person's a this coach. But like they connect with you, Jody, and they connect with, maybe you're with Kuna or something like that. So that's one way, is like, don't be afraid. And I'm not saying, I think when I say this, I had somebody say like, what am I just supposed to be documenting the every moment of my life? I'm like, oh, no. Like, this is not a vlog. Like, I'm not saying you need to be, talking about your deepest, darkest secrets.
What is a vlog?
Those were, I don't even know if those are popular anymore, but I have a YouTube. I mean, my little girl's 4, so like I'm in the age of like YouTube YouTube Kids. It's where people basically are just like walking around with the camera, like documenting their day all day, every day. Like a vlog, like blog, only with a V because it's a video.
Ah,
Yeah. I don't even know if that's really a thing anymore. I think it is. This is my daughter's artwork. Oh, wait. It's weird. This is
it's
so weird
really
because
quite lovely, Miss Molly. I was actually thinking, where did she get those pieces?
it's funny because I'm reversed, the camera. And so I'm
Yeah.
like, tricking your brain. So yeah, so that's one thing you can do. And I always encourage women. So Dr. Jody, for you, I would change your Instagram profile photo to be a photo of you and not your logo because people connect with a human.
Right.
Um, and now, obviously, if you're in a big, well, you wouldn't be in a big practice if you're in soup school. So never mind. So you're always going to be a one-woman show. So instead of hiding behind your logo, put your face out there because, and just from like a tactical standpoint, logos actually don't show up very well on Instagram. So if you're not familiar with Instagram and you're more familiar with Facebook, when you're on Facebook and you click on someone's profile photo, you see the big version of the profile photo. That's not an option on Instagram. Anytime you see someone's profile photo on Instagram, it's going to be like this big. So especially when you've got text in the logo, it doesn't translate well to Instagram. And to kind of get a visual for what I'm talking about, just open up the Instagram app, look in the search bar and just type in like accountant and, see like, is it someone's face that you're like, oh, she looks like, I want her to do my taxes. Or is it like some itty bitty logo that you're like, what is that? I can't see. So that's one easy step right away. Like I said, just don't be afraid to incorporate that soul. And after this is over, I can drop a link to a content planner I have, and it's got my 5 content pillars that I like to rotate because naturally the question I always get when I talk about incorporating personal posts into your business is, well, how often, how much? And so I kind of have these 5 content pillars that I like to rotate. And I have it in a free download. So that might be
We
easier
also
than.
say, yeah, if you guys want to get access to the recording of this awesome experience with Molly and also her 5 content pillars, drop your email in the comments thread in the live video.
Perfect. So the next way that you can use Instagram to really, Dr. Jody, would you say most of your people are brick and mortar or online or a combination of both?
You mean in soup school? So the
Mm-hmm.
Selfless Practice community, I'm going to have you standard corrected. We do have practices that are huge. It's just
Oh,
that
okay.
they hand soup school to the front desk staff and say, have fun. So most of the people are brick and mortar. We do have a great population in this group of coaches who are doing things online. But most of our students in soup school are already in practice and they're hands-on, whether they're
Okay.
physio docs, PTs, chiropractors. We have a dentist, we have a pharmacist. So it's relevant to all applications of women looking for automation in practice.
And now that I'm remembering seeing that on your website too. The staff list thing always was like jumped up in my
Yeah,
mind.
it's a little confusing. We're getting there.
Oh, I'm only 2.5 years into my business and it's been renamed and rebranded and whatever thing like 3 times. Like I said, you never know. Oh, you just have to take action, right?
Keep flexibility, you guys, around changing and ebbing and flowing because your practice it's an extension of who you are, and I promise you're going to grow. So number 1 is like personalizing your Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
like the picture that's on your account. What would you say number 2 is?
Number 2, I'm actually going to flip flop and go with this train that we were just talking about the flexibility, because that was actually my number 4 point. So I'm going to bring it back to number 2
Okay.
since we were already talking about it. Is I think especially in a lot of high achieving women want to be perfect and get it right before it and put themselves out there. And when it comes to Instagram, but any social media, any marketing, really, it's so much an art, almost more than it is a science. So everybody's always asking me like, what's the perfect time to post, or what's the perfect amount of posts, or what day should I be doing this? I'm like, I can't tell you that because there is no perfect, everything is so unique and based completely on your audience. So, what I mean by that is I currently manage around 9 other people's accounts. 6 of them are chiropractors and 3 are doctors. And, I actually have a personal trainer too. And I posted the same exact caption on 4 different chiropractors' page. They're all ICPA, Webster, like pregnancy baby chiropractors. They're all in different states, so they don't compete. Same exact caption on 4 different people's pages. Different photo, the photo corresponded to each of their own practices. Pretty much the same hashtags, except for some local hashtags, which I'll talk about that. That's my point number 3. And all 4 posts performed differently. So
what does that mean? What do you mean performed? So imagine that the person listening to this knows as little as I do about Instagram. What does it mean about performing well?
So I have, I could go into this. I wasn't going to talk about, and I don't want to drone on too long about analytics, but typically on Instagram, if you just follow like the big name gurus, they're going to tell you to look at your comments and your engagement. Engagement means your comments, your likes, stuff like that. That is not the most important thing. Well, I'll have to be on another time to talk all about insights, because when I talk performance, I just mean, did the post flop? Like, did anybody actually see it? Or did it, because on Facebook, you can see your post reach.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know what reach means, reach is the unique eyeballs that have seen your post. So if you ever look at on Instagram, every single post has insights. So on Instagram, if you have a business account, which you should, you can go look at the post. And on the bottom left-hand side of the post itself, on your feed, on your profile, you'll see view insights. And it'll pull up a little menu at the bottom, and you can swipe up on that, and you can see your reach, your impressions, your likes, saves, shares, comments, how your hashtags did, all of that. And reach is really one of my favorite metrics, because reach is the amount of unique people who saw your post. So, Dr. Jody, if I posted something and you saw it 5 times, say you logged into Instagram 5 times today and you saw the same post 5 times, for reach, you only count as 1. But for impressions, you count as 5.
Got it.
That makes sense. Okay. So when I say perform well, I mean, it really just depends. I gauge a post's performance on my call to action for that specific post. So if my call to action is trying to get them to go to the link in my profile to get them to, download something or, whatever, because on Instagram, links don't work within the caption like they do on Facebook. The only link that works is the link in your profile. You can't link something in an Instagram caption and people click on it.
Do you add links to your profile to get people to where they want to go? Or you just don't put links in Instagram? It's not relevant.
Nope, it is. There's programs. That's another thing we can post. I post down below. I have an Instagram post where I talk about all of the different link and profile options.
Wait, Molly.
Yeah?
You ready?
Kuna!
Come here, Kuna. I keep forgetting her name and calling her Luna. Say hi to everybody. Say hi to everybody. Say hi, I'm making my big debut. She got adjusted already, and she's done lots of peeing and pooping. She's a good girl.
Yeah, she was peed.
She's a good girl. So if anybody has puppy tips for me, send them my way. Say hello. I'm the new family member of Staffless Practice. Is she not the cutest thing on the planet? And her eyes are like green.
Her little squeezer. I just immediately felt like an oxytocin rush in my body.
She smells really good too.
Oh, she has puppy breath.
So this is Kuna, guys, the mascot of Staffless Practice.
All right. Well, my homework for you is she needs to make a debut on your Instagram page.
We need to do that today, okay, honey? We're going to do that later. Bring her downstairs. Sorry.
No, it's all
I'm like a new mama all over again. Freaking tired.
I love it. She's precious. but I was just saying probably the easiest, if you want to have this as a resource, it's called Link Tree, and it's free. You can have, I think it's like up to 5 links for free. Um, and that basically just transforms that one link in your profile to multiple if you want it
Oh,
to.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing I will say about that is you don't want to have too many links in there because it's kind of that whole a confused buyer. Like if somebody gets on there and they have like 10 things to click on, they're like, oh, so keep it simple. So
Don't
yeah,
you
but what
guys
else?
love how chill Molly is? Like, I just want you to notice, this is just a knowledge bomb for you guys. Notice how she's just talking at her own pace. I speak very quickly because that's who I am, but there's like a stall between before she goes into the next sentence. Be who you are when you go on social media, right? Molly doesn't know how many thousands of people are going to watch this video, but guys, feel how chill she is. That's who she is, right? And you can tell she's organized and she's got her content where it needs to be, but it's like we're talking with a girlfriend in her living room, right? So just watch how that's who she is. That's her brand. Check out how she's doing what she's doing as we're listening to this video. Okay, sorry, keep going.
No, it's all right. Yeah, I'll never be that perfectly polished person. That just ain't me. And my ICA, my ideal client avatar, I don't think would relate to that perfectly polished gal. Because that seems unattainable, right? Like you're like, oh, I'll never get there. I'll never get to that level. My mantra that I email all my students and everything is always, I'm committing to imperfect action. It's my favorite mantra.
Wait, hold on. Wait for it. You ready? Okay.
I knew I loved you when I met you. Actually, that's one of my mantras that's written right here. You just can't see it. Yeah. I actually have one. You'll like this too, Dr. Jody. The more money I make, the more I do well in the world, the more I can help others do good.
What does that do for you to see that right there?
It's just helpful because I think women have a lot of money blocks, and it seems noble to be like, I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it to help people, which is great. I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad, but I think that also kind of tells the universe that like we're happy where we are and we don't need to get to the next level.
Mm.
And so it just helps me to remember. So when I hit my income goal last month, immediately the first thing I did is I went online and donated to the local kids shelter here because I just wanted to tell the universe like, I'm gonna do good. If you continue like giving me abundance, I will continue putting it out in the world.
I love it. I love it. We have a whole course in Soup School called the Abundance Driven Practice, and we talk a lot. This is actually a concept that I learned from Janice Hughes. You save some, you spend some, and you give some away. And even if you make $10 a week, you save some, you spend some, and you give some away because you're putting money is energy, and you're putting it in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you just said that. Love it. Okay, keep going.
I'm gonna tie that back to Instagram too.
Oh, I'm gonna watch you do it.
Let me just finish up my topic on talking about reach and what makes a post perform well. I'm a big I always talk about Instagram as brand awareness. So my favorite topic, this is going to turn into way more than 4 ways to use it, but this is just lots of good knowledge coming your way. So if you're scrolling through Instagram and you see, let's say, you know, your local town and you see and a post for a tire shop, a local like Smith and Sons tire shop. I don't know, I made that up. And you don't stop to double tap it and like it. You don't stop to comment. You're just like scrolling and then you see it again, you see it again. And you're like, okay, whatever, cool, Smith and Sons, whatever. And then one day you have a blowout. You're on the side of the road and you're like, oh shoot, what am I gonna do? And you're like, oh, there was that tire shop. And so that's really what all marketing is, not just Instagram. It's just that brand awareness. Because I started out my career selling advertising in newspapers back in 2008. And people would always be like, well, nobody called me about my ad. I'm like, how many people are really sitting around being like, oh, look, I saw this ad in the paper. Let me dial up this phone number. You have to meet people where they are at the right time. And so let's use like the chiropractic example. There are people like me who I go every week, no matter how I feel, good or bad. But it took me a long time to get to that point and to understand the value in that and why I should go for vitalistic wellness care. But for a lot of people who are new to chiropractic and have no, they would never wake up in the morning and be like, I feel stressed out. I should go get an adjustment. Sometimes you do have to kind of like your marketing needs to be more symptom based so that it does finally trigger them to be like, oh, I'm so sick of these migraines. And finally, I saw this post about migraines. And that post just happened to get through at the right time. And that's what makes them pull the trigger.
Let me speak to that for a second. First of all, we're
Mhm.
going to come back to the pink highlighter because it is dancing on my brain. I want to know what you're doing with that pink highlighter, and I know my students do too. We are pen to paper geek squads. So I want to know that. The second thing I want to say is that we talk a lot about change in soup school and in staffless practice in general, and that really to change, to instigate change for yourself or for your practice members, there either is a big boom that makes the change happen and it's like boom, overnight everything needs to change, or it's a slow and gradual change. It's just like, and we talk about this a lot too, with subluxation. If you're a chiropractor, if you're not a chiropractor, subluxation simply means that there's stored potential energy in the system and it's affecting your nerve system and your body's not functioning optimally. It's holding. It's a force that has hit your system and is holding. And the adjustment releases that force so that you can better express who you are in the world. The same is true for all of your stories that change you. If you have just the tire scenario, if you have a tire blowout on a highway, chances are there's going to be a big force that hits your system and it's going to instigate change immediately. However, if you have headaches every couple of weeks and they kind of affect you but not really, when they get bad enough they will instigate the change, and that's a change that's going to happen over a long period of time. So know that your people are coming at you from two different places. They either had the big tire blowout with the big boom and they need change now, like they're going through it, or it's a slow gradual thing and they think they're there for something else, but they're really there for whatever it is that your craft is, for you to foster and help them shape shift through that change. Because that's part of what we do as chiropractors, as PTs, as coaches. We help. And I used to have a dentist call me his integration therapist because my role in his life was to help him integrate change. So I love what you just said there. And please tell us about the pink highlighter. What are you highlighting right now? I know I'm totally dodging our point, but it's very important that you tell us.
You're going to be really disappointed when you hear. I'm not highlighting anything.
You're just using it as a toy?
It's 8:00, or it was 8:00 in the morning here. And I didn't have a pen at my desk, and this is all I had.
So are you writing as you're going through this interview?
I'm writing little notes to keep myself on track.
That's what I want to know. So you're writing notes. Is it a blank sheet that you're writing the notes on? You guys, look, that's her system for doing
I'm not fancy. I told you this.
That's totally cool. And some people would have like the most extravagant note system on their iPad writing along with the screen. You do you. That's why I asked.
I'm not type A.
All right,
I am not type A. I'm writing it on the back of a grocery list because my notebook is in my daughter's room. And again, like I said, I'm not a morning person. So it was 8 a.m. here to get on live. And so when I sat down and we went live, I was like, oh, shoot, where's my pen and notebook? And I was like, well, back of the grocery list and highlighter it is.
Yes. I love it.
Okay. So thank you. My sweet husband just refilled my coffee for me.
Tell him we love him.
He heard you.
He got it.
He's so used to like me. It's funny. So used to me being on live. Okay. So let me bring it back to, so I was talking about the right place, right time, brand awareness. So don't get bogged down. The reason I don't ever start any talk at a one-on-one level about analytics, Dr. Jody, is because, again, going back to the high achieving women, we tend to be like bogged down in the analytics. And we're like, okay, well, this one got this many likes, but this one got this many likes. And I wonder why. And I'm going to get to the bottom of why. And I'm going to figure it out. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your breath. After you've been doing this for a couple months, maybe you can kind of dive into the overarching themes of, hey, when I post a picture of Kuna, it goes nuts. But the reason I don't talk about it usually in like introductory talks is because then people try to like dissect every little thing and find these common denominators. And I hate to break it to you, I've been doing this for years. You're going to come up short. So, the main tip I would give you is just be consistent and don't right away. If you're just starting, I know one of your questions, I'm going to jump to this because it makes sense for now, is like, what would you tell somebody who's just getting started?
Yeah.
Is don't jump in and say, I'm going to post every day. Or, I mean, if you think you can keep up with that, then great. But stick with something that you can be consistent with. And that way, that's just like a mental thing too, because as women, we always feel like we're behind. We're always like, oh, or I didn't meet that goal, or I said I was going to do this thing and I didn't. So let's just put that crap to the side. Let's just start. I'm going to only post Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If that seems easy for you, cool, add another day, but start consistent. And that way you're never in that mindset of like, I'm behind or I'm not doing anything. So that would be like my biggest advice to somebody getting started out. But let me go back to the practical, tangible tips. Hashtags. Hashtags are one of those things that people get really confused by.
Right.
And I'm going to give you a couple super simple ways. If you're already spending the time to put out a post, why not make it optimized? And here are some ways you can optimize it. I always see people wanting to use the hashtags like hashtag health, hashtag wellness, because in your mind, you're like, if it's a big hashtag, and I'll tell you what I mean by big hashtag, then more people are going to see it. But that's not true. When you when you go to the search bar on Instagram and you type in, I'll actually do it now as I'm talking to you. When you go to the search bar and I'm going to type in hashtag health, that has 134 million posts, which means unless you are Kim Kardashian, you will never rank on that hashtag. You want to stick to less than 500,000 uses. So if you type in health, and I'm just going to keep scrolling down. I'm on Instagram now. None of these came up. You have to get more specific.
Is it, so here's my question for you. Let's say that I said on every post I did hashtag soup school or hashtag staffless practice. What is it? Okay, so hashtag staffless practice, what does it do? What's the purpose?
So that's a different type of hashtag. That's a branded hashtag. So branded hashtags really they're not going to do anything for you in terms of getting new eyeballs on your content necessarily. If you're already, I'm not saying don't use it. I'll tell you why you should start using it from the beginning in just a moment. But what that does for you from like let's say your Pottery Barn. If somebody, if I buy a Pottery Barn pillow and take a photo of it and put it on my Instagram and hashtag Pottery Barn,
got it.
Then they're already like a really big, well-known brand, and people can go to that hashtag and see like how individual people are using a Pottery Barn pillow in their house. But for people like us who, we will be household names, but we're not quite yet. It almost serves as like your portfolio, if you will. So if you're a dentist, or let's say you're an orthodontist, and one of your patients takes a selfie after they've been debanded. Is it debanded or debonded? Whatever. And they hashtag like the name of your practice. And then, you almost, if people go to that hashtag, it's almost like, you know how photographers have a gallery of a portfolio of their work on their website.
Yep.
It almost becomes like a portfolio of your work.
Got it.
So if your students are using the hashtag Soup School or the hashtag Staffless Practice, and you have a prospective student who's like thinking of joining, they could go to those hashtags and see if other students are using them too, and be like, oh, well, she's in it, and this person's in it, and this person's in it, and kind of see how it all fits together.
And how many hashtags did you say to stick to? This is for Dr. Schroeder. She said it broke up.
Less than 500,000.
Less than. Okay, got it.
Mm-hmm. And so here's the other thing. So if the majority of you are brick and mortar, so you can use up to 30 hashtags. And I always recommend using.
Wow. On Instagram and Facebook?
You know, I don't know as much about hashtags on Facebook. Up until about, I want to say six months or so, the best practice was not to use hashtags on Facebook. But now I've heard that it's changed. I'm not a Facebook expert. Facebook overwhelms me, to be honest. And so Instagram changes like literally every other day. So it's as much as I can do to keep up with that. But I can investigate and let you know about Facebook. But on Instagram, you can use up to 30 hashtags. And if you're a brick and mortar, you need to be using at least 10 local regional hashtags. So if Dr. Schroeder, if you can see, what area is she in? Do you know?
Brianna, where are you? Mortar, MORTOR.
Yes. So like my husband, he'll be like,
if you're brick and mortar, what did you say?
You want to use at least 10 local regional hashtags.
Got
So
it.
it's harder when you're in a small town, like you're in a big area, it's gold. So has she responded to where she's located yet?
No.
Okay, I know there's a little lag. So I'll give an example of one of my chiropractic clients is in Raleigh, North Carolina. So if you type in hashtag Raleigh, that's way too big, 3.1 million posts. But I live in a small town called Gulf Breeze, which is very small. But however, she's an ICPA and Webster certified chiropractor. Raleigh Moms hashtag 59,000 posts, and it's beautiful. You tap on Raleigh Moms, and all you see is, guess what? All of your ideal client avatar people and posts.
Wow.
So,
and how many people, Molly, would you say? How many people would you say know that? Like, if I move to Danbury, Connecticut, let's say the typical mom moves to Danbury, Connecticut. How often would somebody between 25 and 40, a mom who's moving to a new town, how often would they use Moms Danbury, Connecticut to search whatever?
It just depends. So I'm 34, and when I hit my income goal last month, I had been saying for a year that I was going to get a weekly blowout. So the first thing I did, because I have crazy hair, it's all like up now, but the first thing I did was I looked up hashtag my city and hair, like Gulf Breeze hair.
Wow.
And I found a girl, and that's how I found her. So, I mean, I would say it's pretty common. Like you'll find all of the, are you familiar with Stroller Strides?
Uh-huh.
Yep. So like you'll find all the local chapters of Stroller Strides, and you'll find usually on these hashtags, you'll find like local mom blogs. Almost every bigger town too has, small town folks, I haven't forgotten about you. I'll talk about that in a second, how you can reverse engineer it. But you'll find a lot of bigger towns have these cool accounts now that are like basically things to do around the town with kids, or things to do around the town, or like eats. You can look up the word eats. So like Raleigh Eats, and you'll see all of these cool like local restaurants in Raleigh. Even bigger towns, like I bet you could even look up, let's see, like Raleigh accountant or Raleigh business or Raleigh small business I bet. Now, if you are like I said, if you're in a small town though, like me, Gulf Breeze Moms is not really a thing because Gulf Breeze itself is already a really small hashtag and I'm in a small town. So it doesn't work everywhere. If you're in a small town, what I like to recommend people do is, and this is what I do anytime I get a new client. So I have two chiropractors in really small towns in Wisconsin who are clients of mine. And I just went on Google Maps and I literally just looked at every little town around where they are. And I was like, okay, how far do you pull patients from? And they're like, okay, from this little town, this little town, this little town. And you can pull all of those hashtags and use those.
Okay, so that makes me want to ask you about what you do. So tell us those two chiropractors in Wisconsin. What do you do for them?
So there's two different ways you can work with me. I have my course, which is, if all of this is you're like, what the heck is she talking about? It's broken down step by step. And I did ask permission, Dr. Jody, to talk.
Yeah.
I'm actually in flash sale right now. It's available all the time, but it's called Holistic Marketing Hub. And all of this that I'm talking about is broken down with slides and examples and step by step. So if you're like, oh, this is too much.
How do they find out about that? So Holistic Marketing Hub, what if they want to know more? Where do I send them?
Go to mollycahill.com/HMH. And right now there's 12 virtual classrooms that walk you through step by step every aspect of Instagram, as well as some email marketing tips as well.
That's
and
awesome.
Then it also has an entire content library. So now the content library obviously wouldn't apply for your lawyers or your dentists or whatever, but for your chiros, health coaches, acupuncture, doctors, the content library is literally just copy paste captions.
And y'all know that Molly is hooking us up in Soup School. We are in the process of putting together such great stuff for our soup. So what we do in Soup School is we pull from the greatest minds like Molly's mind, and they show up in school and they teach content, and then they offer our students a really great window in to check out this, or this. So we are creating all things Molly Cahill for Soup School.
Well, I'm going to give you a discount code.
Go for it. Oh, now? Do you want to do that now for the Superstar, for this group?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah.
Okay, so just use the code FRIEND and you get $50 off enrollment. And, but yeah, this is the last, I don't know, whenever you're listening to this, if you happen to be listening to this like on April 11th, what's Wednesday's date? April 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th?
I don't know. I'm 4 hours asleep with a new puppy.
Yeah. Whatever Wednesday's date is. Right now you get access to the content library for an entire year, and I add to it every month. But my financial coach was like, "You're way underpriced." I'm like, "I know," but so anyways, and it's going to be 6 months after that. So this is the last time I'm offering access to the content library for a year. After that, it'll be 6 months, and then you have to renew. So
yeah.
But then I also do social media management, but I only take on like chiropractors, health coaches, doctors, because it's just easier for me to stay in one niche than to be creating content for like 15 different.
And can they learn about that on your website?
That's actually not on my website. You just book a call or DM me on Instagram. I'm at Molly A. Cahill.
See that? That's okay. Can you talk about ats really quick as opposed to hashtags? Wait, you're at what? Molly
A.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's just my username. There's really nothing different to talk about ads with hashtags. It's just that's the at username.
But if somebody has never heard of an at before, let's say they're brand new to the universe and they're, I don't know, they've been living under a bed for the past 15 years. They use an at when they want to be identified in what they're saying, and you click, like I just did at Molly Alexander Cahill, and you guys can click that and it will go right to her profile. Molly, there are some people in this group that if I put a hyperlink and I say click here to learn more, they don't know that the word here is the hyperlink. So we've got students coming from all walks of life. We've got women who are ready to finish with practice, like to button it up and sell their practice, and they join Soup School to make their practice as optimized as possible. So, and they haven't done anything on social media. So an at to them is like a whole world opening up. So that's
I
why
love it.
I
Okay, good. Good to know.
yeah.
Hey, funny, my 60-year-old mother just quit her full-time job to come work with me. So,
Oh, wow.
um, so I'm sending her through my course. I'm like, Mom, take my course. She's like, what is this? So, I actually just had a student also buy my course who she's 64 and she's a breast cancer survivor and she is fabulous. And I just freaking love her.
That's awesome.
So anyway, there's something for all ages, and even the experts, people, if you are already an Instagram expert, you can nerd out on the more advanced strategy. There's like a cash flow plan inside there that teaches you how to run a promotion. But I'm not here to make you Instagram famous. I don't care how many followers you have. I care how much money you're making.
Yeah, and the point for us is really to get the right information to the right people at the right time. And you have to gain traction with this stuff. We have to get out there because this is how the world moves. So I sound like an old lady. Anything else you want our amazing staffless entrepreneurial women in practice to know about?
I guess just like I said, I'm going to go back to that take imperfect action. You're going to mess up. You're going to get frustrated. There's going to be things that make you want to throw your phone. You're going to think this isn't working. Um, but just have faith, show up consistently, and take imperfect action. And don't be afraid to, you know, show the you.
I
That's
got
what people build on.
questions
That's what
for
you
you.
have to. Yeah.
Rebecca is asking, is there an Instagram account we can check out that you have managed, as long as your clients consent, obviously? So something really weird happened at the end of the video where like all things video land went cuckoo. So if you want to get in touch with Molly, go ahead and reach out to her. If you haven't yet joined us in the Staffless Entrepreneurial Women in Practice group on Facebook, go ahead and just search Staffless Entrepreneurial Women in Practice and you'll find us. You can also check out stafflesspractice.com to find out what we're up to, and looking forward to seeing you soon and getting to spend more time with you. Dr. Jody here, checking out.